I still don't understand what differentiates your qualification from a million other Asian American male students with 4.0, tons of APs, perfect SAT, leadership ECs, competition winners, etc. Check Stanley Jong's story.
Okay, so when the gold rays fell on your skin and my hair got caught in the wind, the choir sang. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Sharon and I'm a first year at Harvard College. As you can see, I am not in my dorm for this video today because I'm back at home. It's officially winter break and I am so glad to low-key escape Cambridge, but here we are. And first of all, Merry Christmas to all of those that celebrate. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season and you're not stressing about college applications too much if you're even there watching this video, because everything will be okay and I hope that you're enjoying life and everything that's happening in this wonderful season. So today we're gonna do a little Q&A video because I got a lot of questions after my stats and extracurriculars video, and I just wanted to use this opportunity to help you one last time before the due date in January. So I have my handy dandy little iPad right here with some comments that you guys left me. So let's get right into it. So the first question is, what's your major at Harvard? So this is actually a really good question because I actually barely know what my major is yet. So right now I'm thinking of economics and statistics, but honestly that's super bound to change. So my tip for you when you're like applying for a major in college is to just do like what you're truly passionate about at the time. It's totally fine if it changes. A lot of my friends have changed their ideas. I've changed like a lot as well. I was like fluctuating between like economics, applied math, statistics, computer science, and all of that. And I don't officially declare until next year. So, I mean, right now what I'm saying could totally not be the major that I end up with, and that's totally fine. And yeah, if you're thinking about like, oh, do I want to do like undecided or a specific major? Being undecided is totally fine. If you want to pick a major, you can do something that like maybe is something cohesive from your application or activities, but honestly, like your major does not matter a lot when you're applying, as long as you're super open-minded to change and you're like really flexible and open to learning new things. That's totally fine, and that's what colleges want to look for. Unless you're applying to something super narrow, like business school or something like that, then having an open mind is my biggest tip for you. And just don't lock yourself into one specific topic, because there are so many topics and majors in college that you might not have heard of before, and really trying these new classes is where it's at, and that's my biggest tip for you. So next question, what course are you studying? So for the last semester, I took 4 courses because that's the requirement for Harvard. The first course that I took was a general education course called Justice, taught by Professor Michael Sandel, and it was a really, really cool course. You can actually find it online, actually, and it was just a really great way to learn about different philosophers and think about different morals and different justice and how these different philosophies apply to your lives today. And it truly makes you rethink about how, like, I don't know, like gender inequality or like capitalism and all of these different issues from different perspectives. And I thought it was really cool. Math, I took linear algebra. A little bit a pain in the butt, but it's okay. I'm so glad that it's done now. Ec 10, which is the basic economics, intro economics course that a lot of freshmen take. And my last course was an expository writing course. I took negotiation, and I'm really, really grateful that I took that course because it's really applicable to every aspect that you're in, like whether you're talking about like, oh, which room do you want in a dorm or something like that. And I'm also really interested in international relations, so that was really perfect for me. Yeah, next question. What would you say is your biggest tip for the personal statement and nailing the Harvard interview? So let's answer the first part of the question first. So for your personal statement, definitely tell a story that is really important to your growth, and it should really show traits that you embody. And as I said in my previous video, definitely think of the entire college application as a puzzle. So in this essay, I want to showcase these traits, these stories. Brainstorming is really, really helpful and important. And once you're able to incorporate as many stories and parts of yourself in the personal statement, then see what's left over to cover in my supplements and what do I want to showcase in each supplement. Each one should also tell a different story, show a different part of you. And I think that once you're able to present your full self in all of these essays, including your extracurriculars and also your grades, I think that when you're able to present your full self, you're like proud, you're like, okay, I see something that I'm passionate about here, I see a trait of myself here, and I think I've covered everything. That's good. So it's pretty open, and I can't really give you a specific formula because your story is different, and I really want you to showcase your story and tell as much of it as possible. And yeah, just be authentic, be yourself, and also just present yourself in the best way. You're kind of like a gift, right? Like you're packaging yourself really, really well to give to the college admissions office, and you just really want to emphasize that you're a great fit for their school. Some things to think about: why their school? Why are you applying to their school specifically? Why you're a good fit for their school. Doing some research is really, really helpful, and seeing where those align can definitely help your application, because the college really wants to see how you are a good addition to their school and how you positively contribute and what you can take out of it. How can you use their school, their knowledge onto the further world in the future? Nailing the Harvard interview, or honestly any interview in general, definitely prepare. You definitely want to reflect also, because the written application in the end is also kind of short. You definitely want to think about what you might want to talk about in your interview, whether that's specific experience that you want to reiterate. For me, I think community service was really big, and just refreshing that in your head is really, really important. And also just like perhaps thinking about questions that they might ask you. Really common one: tell me about yourself, right? You definitely want to prepare like your intro, like where are you from, what are your passions, what are your interests. Definitely rehearsing that in your head, and perhaps doing some mock interviews is really, really helpful as well. Thinking about the question that they might ask you. You can definitely find some online. They usually tend to ask similar questions. And just be prepared to tell you about your story and be confident, be optimistic and smiley, be positive. I think that that's really what you want to showcase. And an interview is unique because you're truly able to talk to somebody and be alive, be a 3D person instead of words on paper. So definitely utilize that opportunity. If it's an optional interview, definitely take the interview, because you're able to present yourself in another way, and it's really unique and a great way to showcase yourself. All right, next question. Could you tell the process of writing an essay? What's the topic to write, and how do you get a letter of recommendation, and what do you write in this letter? Okay, so let's start with another personal statement question. And just to add on, so I don't repeat information that I just said, what topic do you write about? So there are some topics that people tend to say you want to avoid, like sports topics, like sports essays, or I don't know, stuff like that, or like mental health. And I don't think there's a bad topic. It really depends on the story you end up telling and what you end up conveying about yourself as a person. Definitely, if you have a unique story, it can be really, really small. I remember on TikTok, there was this girl who talked about the letter S, and she talked about parents, I think it was. And it can be really, really minute, but you can make it so that it's really big, and it showcases a really big part about you. So your end goal is definitely to present as much of you as possible. So just think about what's really important to you and how you can zoom in, but also zoom out into a bigger picture of yourself. So there really isn't one specific topic to talk about. But yeah, so I hope that was helpful. But just be passionate about what you're talking about. And it's always better to talk more and over the word limit, because cutting out words is a lot easier than adding words later. So just showcase yourself through that essay, show as many traits as you can, and definitely brainstorm. Letter of recommendation. So when you ask for a letter of recommendation, definitely pick a teacher that knows you well in different ways if possible. So If they've had you for multiple years and they've witnessed your growth, that's really, really helpful. If they also sponsor a club that you're in and they know you from a different perspective, like whether that's through sports or whether that's through a club, stuff like that, that can also be really helpful. English teachers, if you write about yourself a lot and they know a different aspect of you, that's also really, really important because they can talk about you from a different perspective and outside of the classroom. And if a teacher can talk about you from inside the classroom, whether you participate or you write really well or you're really, really good at a subject, that's really helpful. Or if it's outside the classroom, they know that you're really, really enthusiastic, you're really passionate, you do a ton of different things, that's also really helpful. And just being kind, sending them an email, asking them in person, that's definitely better than sending an email if you can. Just like ask them first. Like, can you write my recommendation? I think you know me really well, and I think that you would be a really, really good addition to me, like applying to this school, and I think that would be really helpful. Just definitely pick a teacher that knows you well, and after they write your recommendation, definitely thank them and show your gratitude towards them. Even before that, honestly, like if it's Thanksgiving, shoot them an email and be like, thank you so much for, I don't know, all that you've done this past semester. I've learned so much from you. You're a really, really good teacher. Stuff like that. Like, it's really helpful. And you can start this connection even in freshman year, and building a strong connection, knowing them outside of the classroom can really help with that. And yeah. Ooh, congrats on Harvard, but I still don't understand what differentiates your qualification from a million other Asian American male students with 4.0, tons of APs, perfect SAT, leadership ECs, competition winners, etc. Check Stanley Jong's story. Okay, so that's actually something that I think about often, and sometimes I'm like, I just got lucky. I don't know how I got into all of these schools. And I think that what made me stood out, I did read my admissions file, and I think that I just took advantage as much as I could of my opportunities as a first-gen low-income student. And I think that my background definitely helped me a lot when they evaluated me, because these college admissions officers, they're comparing you to people who are like you, and they're not comparing you to people. For example, for me, they would not compare me to someone who has a ton of resources to participate in these international competitions, etc. And I think that by taking advantage of all the opportunities that I can, whether that's through singing and performing in front of a ton of different people, taking advantage of clubs on campus, becoming leaders, I think that if you are continuously humble and you don't become arrogant and you'll be like, oh, I have all these killer ECs, so I'm just gonna ratchet and like BS my essays. I think that if you continuously try hard and you put in continuous effort and you receive the support from people that you need, you get your essays revised, you present yourself really, really well, I think that your effort will be seen and it will be paid off. And I think that for me, I think I just packaged myself really well. For ECs, like I use a lot of action verbs and I showed my impact. I think impact is extremely important when it comes to ECs, and I showcased myself really well. I presented every single part of myself, all of the stories that were important to me through my essays. I think that that made me stand out because they could truly see me as a 3D person and not just as like, I don't know, like as a flattened or like someone who could just blend in with all the others. Think about what makes you special. Think about how you can uniquely contribute to these college communities, how you can uniquely take these knowledge and like put them out in greater society. If you think about those questions and reflect, college application process is truly also about reflecting. If you're able to do that, I think that you'll be able to succeed. That was a really brutal question. All right, so freshman in high school, this brings me so much hope. Been looking through so many of these types of videos and felt so disheartened at the amount of people shaping all their extracurriculars around college apps. I feel like I can actually do what I want without being burdened about all this now. This was just really refreshing, and you seem so sweet and genuine. Thanks to the video. Do you have any plans for yourself in college you wouldn't mind sharing? So first of all, I'm so glad that you got that takeaway from my previous video, because I was talking to someone who's currently applying to college, and or she's a junior, and I just truly don't want the college application process to become something that blinds you, because it's really easy to lose yourself into doing things that you don't like just because you think they look better on paper. But in reality, the college application process is a chance for you to reflect on what you're passionate about, and you don't want to lose what you're passionate about just because you want to get into a quote-unquote prestigious college when it's just another starting point. But any specific plans for myself in college? It's honestly, first semester was a lot, and it was a lot of reflection, and I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. But I definitely want to take advantage of what I have around me, and also potentially make a greater change in the world. Perhaps, at least for myself, as an Asian American female, I definitely want to diminish those stereotypes around us and create more opportunities for people like me. And I definitely want to continue advocating for minorities, and I want to continue being like a cultural ambassador between Chinese and American culture. I think those are kind of more like open and more, slightly perhaps more vague ideas that I have right now, but we'll see where the future takes us. And I think that Harvard has given me super, super cool opportunities. Like, I interviewed Malala on Black Friday. Link in bio, you should read the blog. It was really, really cool. And I just want to continue doing that, and I kind of want to start my own podcast. I want to inspire first-gen low-income students like me and create a podcast that gives them insights on different career paths or like hacks through college, because I thought that my first couple of weeks was pretty tough, and I want to make sure that it's not that tough for students like me when they enter college who don't know what to expect. So we'll see. That's like a short-term goal. Let me know in the comments what you think of that idea. But maybe that'll be a winter break goal, and maybe by the next semester I've released my first episode. Who knows? We'll see. Love your explanation on the essay. Thank you so much for your wonderful insight. One question: after being at college for a while, do you think you were able to find a common trait or activity in their application? So they're definitely like, at a glance, there's like a ton of like debaters, there's a ton of, like Coca-Cola scholars, stuff like that. But I think that what I've really noticed is that people are passionate, and that passion drives them to make a bigger impact on what they're doing. So like they really pursue those passions and they don't let them diminish. So for example, one of my friends, she's interested in like AI and computer science, and she did internships on those, and she was able to do stuff for NASA or something like that, and that's like extremely, extremely cool. And I think that if you're passionate about something and you actually like pursue it and you continue doing it and you make an impact on people in your community and you're able to like just make a difference, I think that that's what makes us stand out, and that's the common trait. Because it's really easy to like a ton of things, but it's not easy to continuously do things and feel driven to make a change. So I think that that's what really pushed us through and helped us. But truly, I think that what I'm trying to convey to all of you that's watching this video is really to just pursue your passions, and literally just like tell the colleges what your passions were, what you were able to do with those passions, and what you hope to continue with these passions in college. What do you continue to do? And I think that that's really what it comes down to. So hopefully I answered some of your questions. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments down below. If they're short questions, I'll definitely respond to them in the comments. If they're longer questions that could be answered through a video, there might be part 2. Next video will be me at finals week, which was really, really stressful, which will be a lot of studying. So stay tuned for that. Please subscribe, click the like button down below, and let me know what other types of content you would like to see, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye bye.